Oh, hello, everybody.
Oh,
Chance to meet you all here.
oh, hello.
David Gordon from TheaterMania here, Tuesday, July 14th. And I'm here with the crazy talented, three of the crazy talented members of Freestyle Love Supreme. Chris Shockwave Sullivan, Aneesa Folds. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We are talking about a super cool documentary that drops on Hulu on Friday called We Are Freestyle Love Supreme. It's about a history. It is a history of the group. And Aneesa disappeared, but it's okay. And she's back. We'll do it live. It's great.
We'll just do it live.
I can't hear you guys.
At one point in this, we will try to freestyle. And we're going to try to figure out the best way to do that. What do you guys usually do in the show when you're freestyling? Like, how do you get suggestions from people?
It usually happens in any number of ways. We'll just like shout stuff out, or hey, share a story, or think about a thing, and we'll give them like a specific, kind of like prompt to react to. So yeah, it just depends on what it is we're hoping to accomplish with it.
Do we want to come up with a prompt? I know Aneesa is muted all of a sudden, and she thinks she can't hear us. She says,
I can hear you now.
"Great, perfect."
You think you could get rid of me that easily?
What do we think would be a fun prompt to get people to send in words for, and then they can type them in the comments, and it'll show up in real time?
How about maybe let's do two. The first is, how are you feeling today?
That's good.
And then maybe what's something you're like really looking forward to doing once we figure out how to not be so COVID-y?
Oh, that would be a good one. That would be really good. How are you feeling today? And what do you plan to do when we're not trapped in our houses? So
sounds good.
Comments into the suggestions, and we'll go from there, and we'll play around with the internet and see if you can actually freestyle over the internet. But
we'll figure out a way.
But before we do that, let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about the group first. Anthony, you're one of the founding members.
It's true.
Shockwave, were you too, or did you come in later?
Kind of both. I mean, it was already a seed, and then I came in as part of the water that fertilized it. Okay.
Ooh,
that analogy was terrible.
I didn't go to Wesleyan like a lot of them, so they didn't have. They kind of go on, Anthony.
And then Aneesa, you were discovered through Freestyle Love Academy.
Actually, I founded the group. No, I used to be a fan of them. I look up to these people, and now I work with them, and it's so crazy.
And now we look up to you.
Yeah, exactly. Chris was my teacher, and it's just a full circle. I never thought this would happen, but here we are.
Anthony, take me back. How did you guys found this group?
I think a lot of it came out of when we were starting to first work on Lin-Manuel Miranda's first musical called In the Heights. This was something that my buddy Tommy Kale and I caught wind of when we were at Wesleyan. And so we were like all about it. And we were like, how do we help Lynn do this thing? And then during the breaks, I would just sort of, well, I was running the theater. We helped to build the Arthur C. Lynn Theater, the drama bookshop. Yeah. And I would kind of like barge in and be like, you on a break, Lynn? Let's freestyle. Because I really loved it. And I did it everywhere I went. And Lynn was like, okay, cool. And so we would freestyle. And then eventually I was just like, we should do this as like a show and like invite people. And he was like, no way. We totally shouldn't. But I somehow convinced him to do it. And then we kind of like did a couple of shows and like maybe 5 or 6. I don't even know if we had a name yet. And Chris Shockwave came and saw us. And he had been doing improv at college. He was in Mission Improbable, if I have that right. Yeah, you may. And so he also did vocal percussion work too. And he did some a cappella stuff. And he was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I feel like I'm on the same vibe. Like, I'm really doing something very similar. And we're like, well, what are you doing? And then he started beatboxing for us. And we were like, you are the group. Like, the whole group should be centered around whatever it is you're doing. And so, like, those are some of the little ways that we kind of like found our found this crew of like-minded / very different-minded people. And more importantly, like for me, when I was first starting it out, like improv in New York and almost anywhere looked a lot like me, right? It was a lot of white dudes who were trying to make each other laugh. And I was like, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to go to classes that are just more of that. How do I create a show that might open the door a lot wider for people who look very different from each other?
And so you've been steadily working your way up from like Ars Nova to all over the country. You were at the I'm keep calling it the Barrow Street Theater, but I guess it's the Greenwich House Theater.
Yeah. So I've been working my way back to you, babe. I mean, gosh, we were at the People's Improv Theater. We were at the Arthur Slim Theater, the Drama Bookshop. Then we kind of got a run at Ars Nova's first space, which is a 99-seat theater up on 54th Street, 511 West 54th Street. They're still there. Ars Nova, we love you. And then like these different, like festivals kind of caught wind of our show, and they're like, hey, you should come do that at this festival and this festival. So we started getting like these strange international fans, and we do things at the Fringe Festival, we do things at Melbourne at the International Comedy Festival, we did things in Montreal, and like people are just like, this show is crazy. We don't know what it is, we don't know why we love it, but we do. We really like it. And so we were kind of like shortlisted on everybody's like top 5 list. We always were the runners up, right? So it was like Dimitri Martin won the Fringe when we were there, and we were in second place. Flight of the Conchords. Yeah, we were always the first to lose. Flight of the Conchords took the Aspen Comedy Festival Award when we were there, and we came in second. So it was like,
none of those guys have been on Broadway, so you guys got the last laugh.
And so yeah, and then we all love doing it so much that we were just like, whatever, we'll find a way to make this happen. And we kind of did that for a super long time, and then these other big, shows happened. So In the Heights happened. So we had to find other talented, amazing human beings to help us continue this thing. And so that's when we found Utkarsh, and we found James and Moral Iglehart. And then flash forward years later, we're doing an off-Broadway run, and we were like, this is our last go. We have to quit after this. And then people were like, no, you shouldn't quit. And then we're like, okay, the only way we can keep this going is by like getting really talented women involved in this group, which is something I've been wanting to do from the beginning, but we've never had rehearsal, so we just can't. But finally, during the Broadway run, we're like, we can afford rehearsal. Let's put some new people in. And that's when Aneesa.
And Aneesa, I'll come back to you in a second, but I want to talk to Shockwave for a minute about how you become how do you discover your talent for like beatboxing and vocal percussion and doing everything you do?
It's funny, just to cap on Anthony, how fast it all happened, but still it was so long ago. It's like injecting so much adrenaline at little pieces at a time. Like, it's so funny. That was so long ago. It was like 16 years ago. But every time we do a show, people were like loving it, eating it up. And then it would always lead to the next thing. And then everyone's like, you're an improv show. We don't know what to do with you. It's really hard to film improv. And the industry is very centered around things that are filmed or become two-dimensional. But anyway, it's really nice to have that memory lane walk down. So thank you, Anthony. To me, being the beatboxer is more than just making sounds. It's a lot of being a musician. So I always harken back to my musicianship days when I was in high school and being trained, and going into college and being trained and learning not to drop a beat, and learning what rhythm is and how rhythm plays into a whole piece of music, no matter what the genre. My love of hip hop. And it being grounded in the beat, and the beat being what the words kind of come on top of, but you have to be entertaining yet not distracting from the words. So a lot of what I have done as a beatboxer is what we would call the boom bap, whereas that bass snare, because those are the really important things. And there's a lot of other little sounds you can make, and then you find the little places in between about where to make those little sounds. So yeah, I've developed a bag of tricks that I can use when it's needed. And beyond that, it's all about the boom bap.
That's so cool. It's something that I can't even like wrap my head around, figuring out how to do it.
Everybody can do it. It's like you gotta make a low bass sound. That's the bass drum. You gotta make some kind of high sound.
Shockwave, save this for the Academy. We can get people to.
Oh yeah, Freestyle Love Supreme Academy. Yeah, no free lessons.
Speaking of the Academy, Aneesa, you are. When I saw you at the Booth Theater, you are my hero. Like you, with due respect to everybody, you stole the show.
Thank you.
And you're just tell me about how you discovered Freestyle Love Supreme and how you came to join the Academy and what the Academy really is.
Yeah, I studied musical theater, starting from a young age, and I became a fan of In the Heights. My friend Gowdy, she had told me about the show, and it was just at a time where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to pursue. I didn't really see myself in much musical theater, and to see a show.
Oh no! I'm gonna unmute everybody.
And
Aneesa hopefully will come back.
She will come back.
So anyway,
I can dovetail off of her, because when fast forward to her being in the Academy, her talent was so amazing, and you clock where people levels are, and as being a facilitator of our classes, and we needed somebody for our Memorial Day performance. Hi, Aneesa. I was just picking up where you left off, but now you're muted again.
Unmute yourself.
To see a show where I saw people that I grew up with, where I saw people that were in my community, people that I went to school with, that were on stage doing the music that I've heard growing up in New York, the salsa and hip hop, and things that I love, and to see that represented on stage, it struck a chord with me, and it made me want to be like, you should at least try to audition for schools. And so after that, I auditioned for schools, and then Gowdy told me about Freestyle Love Supreme. And this was just something I had never, it's everything that I love in one and all that I am in one. And it's so funny because in quarantine, just a few weeks ago, I was scrolling through my Tumblr because what else am I going to do? So I was looking through all my high school posts, and I found this post that said, I just saw Freestyle Love Supreme for the second time, and I would love to be a part of something like that.
And now you are.
Yeah. So I just fell in love with them and what they were doing, and the way that love was the core of the show. And then I remember I missed the Ars Nova run, and then I saw that they were doing the Academy, signed up for it, thought nothing of it, and then I got in, and I was nervous, even though this was running through my veins already. This is what I wanted to do, but the space that was created, and all the people from different walks of life, of different ages, who were being vulnerable and open to being vulnerable, and the space that was created for us, it just opened something inside of me, and I'm so happy to have this community and the Academy community, and I know it's going to keep growing, and I can't wait to see what happens. But it's been amazing and incredible, and I'm just grateful.
How did the documentary come to be? Have they been filming you guys for 15 years, and then all of a sudden this is the culmination of hours and hours of footage?
We have 800,000 hours of footage. Our dear friend Andrew Freed, who is a genius as well, who is quite an accomplished producer and director now. He was just starting to work at Radical Media, and this was just before Radical Media started working on Mad Men. And so they had a lot of these kind of integrated creative ideas that were kind of happening inside of the office. And John Kamen, who kind of is running the show, was sitting in his desk, and Andrew saw our show at Ars Nova. Gosh, I want to say it was August of 2004, maybe, Shock, something like that. Mm-hmm. Something like that. And he left our show and went to John Kamen's office and was like, I need to follow these guys around with a camera, because this is something I've never seen this thing happening. And whatever this group is, there's going to be something that comes out of this. And so let's try to figure out what that something is, and let's just follow them around and see what comes out of it. And so that's kind of how it started. He followed us going to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which was in that summer that we ended up going to. And like, he got on a plane and was there for 3 days with us, and filmed a whole bunch of stuff. And you know, I think thereafter he was just always interested in like, what's the story now? Who's doing it now? What's happening now? And then he started following Lynn around when In the Heights was starting to get going. And so some of the footage in this documentary is actually footage that he borrowed from himself from the thing that turned into the PBS masterpiece doc on In the Heights. You know, and so there was a lot of like, and then we just all loved working together so much. So like, I've made like 150 commercials with Andrew throughout the years. And so some of this footage is like found stuff from like times that I was like working with him on a thing. And then he's done different projects with Tommy where he made this show called Iconoclasts. So like, there's all these different moments in our life that we've all just been around each other. And Andrew was just like, I should just keep recording some of these things, thankfully.
Did so the documentary is out on Friday.
Yeah.
On Hulu. For the people watching this interview, tell us where does the documentary end? Oh, my alarm is ringing, but my doorbell's ringing, but it's fine.
Who is it?
I mean,
now we need to know who it is.
we're having furniture delivered all day, so I really hope it's not that, because then I'm going to have to get it together.
We could rap about that.
Wait, hang on, let's see who it is. Hun, who is it?
Tuesday furniture.
Yeah, who is it? It's a delivery, but they didn't specify what kind of delivery.
Furniture.
Wow.
And then we can use the verb that people like to say the most at our shows, which is defenestrate, because we can then throw the furniture out. So I think the documentary ends, if I'm right, because we haven't seen what this cut is going to be. I think we've seen some cuts of it, but it's like, I don't quite know. What I imagine is that this is ending at like when we just start our Broadway run, I think is where it's going to be ending.
Yeah. What was the Broadway run like for you? Because was it like a completely different audience than what you guys had been used to? Like, was it more uptown? Like, is that a thing?
Like, I think out of how many shows did we do?
150.
Then I think we got like 140 like standing ovations after every show. And those 10, I don't believe were ones that were like, because those 10 weren't good. It's just because of the chemistry in the house and the time of day and how drunk they were or what, you know, like whatever goes into like enjoying a show. But it was really, really, my first impression after doing our first preview was that it was everything that we do best in the most oiled up, greased up possibility, where everything was so easy. I mean, the sound was so good. Everybody wanted more. It was the ability to present what we do at its most purest form. And the audience was very embracing.
Did it feel like a culmination of 15 years of hard work?
Wow, what does that look like?
I know.
Well, you know, I have to say, and this is me personally, and I'd love to hear Aneesa's take on it too, like what the run was like for you. But this was a dream I didn't know I could have, right? Improv doesn't go to Broadway. Like that's not an improviser's dream, right? Like never are you going to hear a person like on an college improv troupe being like, gosh, I can't wait to take this show to Broadway. It's just not where improv goes. It's too unpredictable. Like Shock said, there's just so many trappings in traditional entertainment around what the expectation is and how you can get a draw. And we're unbelievably lucky in that we have Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's a part of this, and Chris Jackson, and Tommy Kail, who is the genius who kind of put the structure in on all this. And so those people who have been working incredibly hard to get furniture delivered, to get things on the Broadway stage, you know, we were able to use that cachet to put an improv show. You can count on your one hand how many fully improvised shows have been on Broadway. And so like that, it wasn't a dream, because it's like, right, that's not possible. So it felt like a dream I didn't even know I could have. And it was unbelievably both a rewarding energizing, depleting, difficult, joyful. It's all the things, right? Something is never just one thing. It's always many things. Anyway, that's me. Nice, what was it like for you?
Yeah, hopefully I stay on the line. But for me, it was coming into this thing that was completely new. I thought that we were going to have regular Broadway rehearsals, a month. No, a week. I mean, how do you learn how to do improv? You just do it. I was thrown into the deep end. But when you fall on a Freestyle of Supreme stage, somebody's going to pick you up. I mean, and for me, Broadway was always a goal, but never in my life did I think it would be like this. And in a place where I was, the fact that I got to play myself was a huge thing. And I've repeated this many, many times, but in this career, you are told no so many times. And you internalize that. And, for a while I was like, is it me? Should I give up? I wasn't going to give up because I didn't want to do anything else. But to be myself and to be supported and appreciated was life-changing. And I've learned so much from doing that show, more than my 4 years at college, more than I've learned in any other, institution, because it is just so unique and so special. And you're using all of your senses. It's just.
Oh, she's muted again. I guess it's my turn to talk about Aneesa. If I can continue where I left off before, Aneesa was part of the Freestyle Love Supreme Academy. I mean, no one else, everyone's muted, so the stage is mine. She was part of the Freestyle Love Supreme Academy, and we had an offer through Waterwell Theater Company to do a performance for Veterans Day. That was going to be for a whole bunch of veterans and associated folks and community members that were around this cause. And Jelly Donut, Andrew Bancroft, and I were the only people who were really available at that time. And we needed to fill out what our presentation would be. And it was like, well, what else could we do? Well, I don't know. This is one of our students who's also super talented. And so that was Aneesa's first performance with us. And it was incredible. And it wasn't
I didn't know what I was going to be doing. It was my first freestyle show. And I was freaking out. And nobody told me the run of events. And it was like an hour before I was supposed to get there. And I was like, Chris, what are we doing there?
But the feel like that, like you're saying now in retrospect, how like nervous or hypey you were, or like that feeling. But like Aneesa has been someone who has been so talented, and like she said, if you're being told no by everybody, you're not being told yes by the right people. And we were saying yes because it made sense. And you kept your cool, calm the whole time. We're down in the green room, and there's like famous people walking around, and you were like posted up with your phone looking at stuff, but like you weren't overflowing with anything. Like there was no nervousness, and you just came up, and it didn't reflect on us. Like, and you just killed it. It was like, it's about being yourself in the moment and just continuing to deliver and learning how to cope with nerves and however you went through it. And that's what was like an obvious fit. Like we had auditions, but we're like, yeah, but we know Aneesa was going to be part of the Broadway cast, like from the beginning.
Online interview hiccups don't even phase improv masters. This is true. My wife is so mad at me right now.
Thank you, because I don't know what is happening.
Between you and literally, we have a dresser coming that I think I want to go upstairs for.
CB2.
The live theater is the closest you'll get.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to ask you, before we get into actually trying to freestyle over this platform, I want to ask you like the double-headed question of what was the best audience you've ever had and what was the worst audience you've ever had? And if you can judge that way.
I know the worst.
Yeah.
It took place in Edinburgh. And everybody fondly remembers it as the late night show that I invited the group to be a part of.
Because you did.
Yeah, I guess I did. In like the stand-up comedy world, in the improv world, there are late night shows that happen, and especially in festivals where all the international players from all different whatever, all get kind of invited to put together.
Get to the goods. Get to the goods.
So we were doing the show.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. And we were performing, like these blokes from, bye, Aneesa. These blokes from the U.S. Doing a freestyle improv hip hop show. Hi, Aneesa, you back? And maybe there was some theme going on, or these people came from a theme where they're all dressed as tennis players, and they're all standing on the. It doesn't stop there. They're all standing on the mezzanine, dressed as tennis players, and looking down at us. With perfect aim in view, they start throwing tennis balls at us. So tennis balls being hurled at us. Anthony gets hit in the tokies, which I think is a Scottish term for the nether regions.
No, I had totally made that up. There's no. This is a phrase I made up in the moment, which was I just got lacquered in the tokies. I don't think that exists, and I don't know if I did it because I'm a J.R.R. Tolkien fan or why. But it's a phrase that now lives in Freestyle Supreme lore. So lacquered in the tokies, like you can say that to anyone in our group, and they'll be like, the Gilded Balloon, 2005, tennis players. Like they know exactly what happened. But yeah, I mean, we got pelted with tennis balls as we were trying to perform our show. And Chris Jackson was about to go up there and tear these people limb from limb. It was crazy.
Oh, I could see Chris Jackson doing that too. Tennis balls.
Don't mess with the president.
Yeah. All right. You want to try to freestyle with some suggestions that people threw in?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
All right, so
Yeah, and Shock, what do we want to do for a beat? Do you want to hold a beat, or do we want to do a thing, or what?
I don't know how to stream with StreamYard. I'm
StreamYard?
kind of
Okay.
a
So
Zoom
then
guy, but let's try with the beat and see what happens.
Yeah.
hold a beat, and then maybe we'll just kind of do snaps along with it or something.
So for the question of how do you feel today, we got hungover, we got inspired, we got slightly unwell.
Young Niece, you want to go first?
Yeah, until I cut out. You take over. Yeah, what's going on? I need a 4-leaf clover. It's bad luck. Yeah, I'm feeling hungover. Yeah, your girl, yeah, she's feeling pretty frisky because yesterday drank a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, I'm getting hired with my friends. Dave Gordon, feeling inspired. Yeah, you know, literature. Yeah, I gotta get the furniture. Yeah. Take the next one because I don't remember what it was.
What do people want to do when COVID is over? We have hug friends.
GG.
Live music. We have travel, and we have see live theater. And then I'm just going to turn this one into what
Oh my gosh, I can't stand you. You work with Lin-Manuel Miranda. All right, yeah, I had a plan to see all my friends and maybe get a hug because I need some shoving. Got a good loving. After the COVID times, I will be rising aboving. All right, me. I just dropped off the phone for the 5th time. My name is Aneesa. Yes, pleased to see ya. Or maybe you could just come over and we take a trip on the bus down to Atlantic City because I want to travel. Everybody knows that Aneesa unraveled. Why are you muted? No, don't choose it. Thank you, David Gordon, for blessing us with music because we need more live music. I miss it. Oh, you're still going? Okay. Is there anything? What are we doing now?
I think we could. I was gonna thank you guys. You didn't have to
I think we were all doing a dance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is live theater now. This is what live theater is.
I know. That worked pretty well over this, I must say.
Awesome.
Even when Aneesa cut out.
Yeah, but it worked out.
And for the record, this was the package that they couldn't leave downstairs.
Open it. Open it.
That's your new set of drawers?
Unboxing video.
Unboxing video. We'll increase the views.
Oh, yeah. Wait, let's wrap this.
Maybe we should do this in the basement.
Oh my goodness.
Liberty.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Uh-oh.
Thank you all.
Thank you. This was fun. Let's do it again next week.
Yeah, I'm down. My platform is your platform. Anthony, Aneesa, Shockwave, Chris, I so appreciate your time.
Thank you.
The documentary, We Are Freestyle Love Supreme. It hits Hulu Friday.
And you can find the link to apply for our next classes for the Academy on our website, freestyleupstream.com/academy.
And when does that start?
They're ongoing applications. Yep, because we're doing virtual classes now, and when we're able, we'll do in-person stuff. But let's do this.
That's the thing now.
Yeah, improv shows on StreamYard. Go figure. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
What up, Jillian? What up, Gigi? What up, Danielle?
Woo!